Hello. This video is for Sandy. I want to make a brief video, but I want to make a longer video tomorrow when I have daylight, and I want to use the translucent putty for my blue god meditation video that I want to make for you. But I also want to make a shorter video right now, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because I'm thinking about you, and I just feel like I want to send you much love and healing energy. And I also want to send Fernando much love and healing energy. I came into the chat room after I ate my pasta, and you were not there anymore, and I stayed way too long in that chat room with all of these people that were just simply rude, disrespectful, sexist, hateful, racist, violent. Some of them were very violent, very verbally abusive, particularly to me. And it was just horrible. It's just awful. And I have come to the conclusion now that it's not for me to talk to people in the chat room. I can't do it. So, but I'm glad I met you, Fernando, because I see that you are a very gentle soul. I see that. And what a wonder, for me to find someone like this that is gentle. Someone who's caring and compassionate and gentle. This is a rare jewel, like you and Sandy. Those are rare jewels in the world. And I have just very infinite appreciation for those rare jewels, for those gentle souls. That means a lot to me, a lot. And just want to share a little bit about me, my life, what's going on. I am an extremely sensitive person. For me to be exposing myself to these chat rooms, mainly because I want to educate people on compassion and animal rights and the importance of all of this. But also because I'm lonely, this is just a fact. I am lonely. I have to admit this to myself. And I'm not saying this to get pity from anyone or to beg anyone to love me or something. I just share this with you guys because I know you are gentle souls, and you can empathize, and you can understand me, and you both also know what it's like to be talking to very cruel and cold-hearted people all the time on the internet, because it seems to be like the world is full of those, and it's like I feel like they're the vast majority. I feel like they're in the 80s or maybe 90, in the 90%, something like this, And then there's a handful of people that are kind of indifferent, but that would also probably be cruel to someone if they saw a chance for themselves to be cruel to another living being. Because they did some tests, you know, they did some real hefty tests in the 60s and 70s was these kind of things. Dr. Philip Zimbardo, for example, did some really, really shocking tests with people, and the outcome was horrendous. You know, there were people that were willing to press an execution button to electrocute someone. It was just a test, but the test person didn't know. The test person thought they were actually executing someone, and they just did it because a so-called authority told them to. And some people were real eager to do it, like the majority actually. Then they did this prisoner test where they played prisoners and prison guards, and you guys probably heard about these tests. And the majority of those people that played the prison guards, they didn't only play it and go along with this so-called play in quotation marks, because that was not play and that was not fun. They went overboard with it. And it's like what a friend of my husband long time ago said. George, he was in the Vietnam War, and my husband's friend George, he was in the Vietnam War, and he's seen real horrible things. He's seen the majority of the men there in the military were sadistic. And he said that those people, they not only sign up for it, they go overboard. When they're given any kind of authority function, of any kind of sort, they completely go overboard with it. They abuse that so-called authority position that they're given. And I grew up in Germany, and we have been told that all people are good, you know, and that everyone is the same, and, you know, they just had bad parents, you know, if they are acting bad. I really believe this. I was like full force blinded by this until I met my husband Paul in 1998. I think I met him in 1997. And we were just friends for a long time, and then got together because of the dogs, and we dearly love each other, you know, so. But we're just friends, you know, this is a fact. And yeah, I'm very alone. I'm very lonely, and it sucks, you know. I don't mean to, well, I don't want to make anyone feel obligated or anything. I just want to share this because you're my friends, and I don't want to push myself on anyone, you know. I just like you so much as friends, and I want to cry on your shoulders, and I don't want to. You know, I always feel so embarrassed to ask for love or anything. You know. It has to do with my childhood. I've been extremely bullied by my mother. Real bad, you know. Can you imagine a child being bullied by her own mother? Can you imagine how that feels? I have undergone such tremendous emotional trauma with my mother. And there was nobody there to help me. My dad was an enabler of this situation. And he was almost never there. You know, he got himself a mistress very early on. He left us alone all the time. Then he was guilt-ridden and came back, but he had to leave again, and he had to constantly had women, and my mother couldn't cope with any of this, so she let it out on me. That's what a stagnator soul does. The stagnator soul is the baby soul, in the beginning stages of soul development. And I asked myself why. I've been listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti a lot. And in some conversations at Brockwood Park, England, with Dr. David Bohm and Dr. David Shainberg, he was talking about the stream of sorrow. And he said, there's something called the stream of sorrow. And they asked him, where is this? Where is it located? Is it in our heads? Where is it? He said, it's everywhere. It's there. That's what he said. It's there. And it's there. It's outer dimensional. It's not something that we can say it's right here in this particular location. It's an outer dimensional thing. And it's a stream. It's like a river. And souls are born out of that stream. So when they start out, they're just full of sorrow. It's just one big stream of sorrow. So, and every time a person, a troll, a hater, a stagnator soul, every time they hurt someone on the internet, every time another negativity is being radiated out into the world with words and energy, then it feeds this river of sorrow, that stream of sorrow. And then something happens what the Buddhists call this never-ending cycle of suffering. They call that samsara. It is a never-ending, perpetuated stream of sorrow that is the sorrow, the meanness in the world. Every mean action is fed back into the stream of sorrow, and then it perpetuates itself. It never ends. So I want to share something with you. I've been bullied so bad by my mother and grandfather, and also, the kids in school, and it was always psychological torment. It was psychoterror that they did with me. And it was so traumatic that I had to quit the university. I was studying psychology. I had big plans. I wanted to become a psychologist. I wanted to become a therapist. I wanted to go into science with it. I also was interested in neuroscience, wanted to get into this as well. And I just couldn't. I had to quit, I had to drop out, because I could not give presentations because of the constant psychoterror and bullying from my mother in particular. I was exposed to her all the time, more than to my grandfather. but my grandfather also did his part whenever I was there. And as a child, I never questioned them. I thought, hey, they're the adults. They must know what they're doing. Oh, they had no clue. They're stagnator souls. My grandfather died. My mother is still alive. I only wish them the best. I don't hate them anymore. It took me a long time to get to this point. But, I had phases in my life where I had such a hard time. I did primotherapy, then that brings up an enormous amount of hatred. It comes up like avalanches, the hatred. It's like what Teal Swan said, it's lava fields of rage, and it comes up because it's there. When we have been abused, the lava fields of rage will come up. They will come up, when we get into a situation where we're finally understood, where we're finally loved, that stuff comes up, That's why a lot of people, for example, shy away from love, because they're so afraid that when they encounter actual love, that these lava fields of loneliness and rage and trauma will come up, because it comes up when the waters are cleared. If we have a homeostasis between this side of the fence and that side of the fence, then there's no movement happening. But you create an imbalance with this. You take the poison out of the water on one side, and the poison from the other side will come in to create an equilibrium. Arjanov talked about this. He called it homeostasis and repetition compulsion, because that's what people do when they act out their emotional pain in their daily lives. That's what the haters are doing. They have been so beaten and so hurt and so neglected and not loved at all. There was no love. It's also genetic. They don't have the compassion center developed in the brain. It's atrophied, or it has never been developed. It's genetically atrophied already. So how can they grow this? It's just almost impossible for a lot of those people. But then I heard that this can actually grow, and it can be developed through certain meditations. And so I offer this, with my videos as much as I can. And beyond that, I don't know what to do. It's like I make these videos and I offer this. Words alone, I don't know how much of the words that I leave in chat rooms, how much of that energetic vibration of my words can actually reach these people. And I tested them. I also saw that as soon as these haters see any kind of vulnerability in someone, as soon as they see someone needing something or feeling a little bit insecure about themselves in any way, not in regards to opinions, but just the way they feel, they will immediately prey on that. And it's this knee-jerk reaction that I observed in these people. It's hard for me to understand it. I cannot wrap my head around it because I don't have that in me. I would never hurt someone who is vulnerable, who shows himself or herself in a vulnerable state. There's the Papa dog. There he is. Yes. Come and say hi to Sandy and Fernando. Yes. Yes, there is the Papa dog. He is my best friend. That is what he is. Yes. He is the blue god baby. He is what I call the orange god. That is what the Papa dog is. Yes. That is that is what the Papa dog is. He is a very gentle soul. He is an angel soul. That is what he is. And he's my rescuer, and I also call him my nurse because he came to rescue me after my dog Kenny died. Yes, Papa dog came to us to rescue us, and he did. Yes, and it worked. Yes, it worked wonders. He is a wonder angel is he. Yes, he's infinitely powerful. Krista Kola healer, that's what I call him. So I observe all of these things, So I have been so beaten up psychologically, and it took me so many years to heal this. And I want to be really honest with you about this. I am actually 54. I lied about my age because of this insecurity, because I knew if I would tell people in the chat room that I'm 54, then they would come after me like vultures. No, I like vultures. They would come after me like monsters, like just insane entities that they are. They are completely, they're just total stream of sorrow energy. And they would come at me and they would bully me so bad if I told them what my real age is. So I was really terrified of that, absolutely terrified. Then I started to have nightmares about going to the hot springs and thinking, what if I go to a wild hot springs and there's a hater, either from the chat room or from anywhere, and then they would act like this towards me in person, like they act in the chat room, But if they saw me in a hot spring, there would be absolutely no doubt that I am a woman. If they saw me in the pool, then there would be no way they can accuse me of being a tranny or a man, and any of these things that they know that hurt women real bad. They know that it hurts all of us women. Some women don't admit to it. There's a lot of people on the internet that would never admit to any kind of vulnerability, including some women. I admit to it because I am radically honest with myself. So I can't stand it. Lying to oneself, that's the worst, That's like bypassing the meaning of life. That's bypassing existence. I am here to learn, and I'm here to face my deepest inner truth and existence and vulnerability and all of this. It feels good to have friends who I can talk to, it means a lot to me. So Paul and I were just friends, but we're real close. And that's very important for me. That's the most important thing there is, So, and I am very lonely. I'm on many levels, mentally, so, like psychologically, intellectually. I'm very alone. I feel, I have my dog, I have my husband. I feel like I'm the protector in the house. And I feel I'm very afraid. I feel I'm very scared. I would protect him, I would fight to the bone if a psychopath one or a hater came at us in any way. I would fight to the bone. Absolutely. I have a protector inside of me. It's called the Medusa. It would come up because I'm a real fierce dog mother. Real fierce. I have a real powerful mother instinct in me. And Sandy does too. So, and that's wonderful because that's what love is. That's love. Yeah. That is love. I am not going back into the chat rooms because it's very similar to Facebook. It's very similar to talking to anyone on Facebook in, I don't know, in comments and debates, in these the private messenger chats. I'm only gonna be talking to Sandy in Messenger, and I'm not gonna talk to these other guys anymore. They send me penis photos, they preach Islam, they say Islam is peaceful, or it makes me furious. And that's just, they want something, I can already tell, it's just a matter of time until they tell me they want money or German citizenship. So, no, it's very infuriating. And in the chat room, I feel like I want to puke, when I see these comments of people. And when I see these sneaky little guys that they know very well that I'm a woman, but they want to hurt me, they want to stab me. And then they have this kind of idea, because I already talked to some of them told me, actually, some of them told me that's a strategy that they have to bring women into submission. So, but nice try, but haters out there, it does not work for me, to bring me into submission by stabbing me with words, with insults that are so mean and so hurtful, and then thinking that will bring me into submission, and then later on, then they come at my channel and to my videos, and they want something, So the very same people has happened so many times now already. It's infuriating. And all of this just makes me hate him so much, And it brings up enormous lava fields of rage. And I've had these moments in the past where I got so much rage that I felt like I was gonna snap. And that rage is also an energetic rescuer. We just cannot allow it to snap. So what we have to do is we have to stay away from the bullies and the haters and all of these people. We have to. We cannot expose ourselves to that. I did it now long enough. I did it for a while. I gave facts. I gave them my knowledge. I only got hate back in return, and enormous resistance to this. They cling to their violence like a religion, that's the same as they cling to eating meat, and they really cling to, they even cling to misery. Muslim women often they cling to that miserable enslavement, because, and that's Jiddu Krishnamurti talks about it, he said, because that's the only thing they have ever known. Taking that away would feel like, to them, would almost feel like their identity would become erased. So they'd rather cling to the violence and the misery than to lose their identity. And the stagnator soul does that. The stagnator soul clings to any kind of misery. It identifies itself with that. I find that very, very peculiar, to say the least. But that's what happens, and I don't know how to bring this across to the world, this meditation on that what is, So I meditate, and I don't run away from anything, Jiddu Krishnamurti said, it feels like you get to this, they talked about this a lot, he talked about this to Dr. Alan W. Anderson as well, was a philosophy professor in San Diego, and they spent many hours together talking through this subject, of people when they encounter this threshold of plunging down from that ladder, from that fake ladder of ego, when they plunge down into the abyss of freedom, that is so frightening to them, so frightening, that they'd rather turn around and go back to the misery and the enslavement. When I think about enslavement of any form, religion or my mother or any kind of existence where someone slaps me around, I would rather be dead. I don't need an identification with that. I really don't. So, but that's me, and the stagnator souls are the stagnator souls, and they don't understand this. They feel frightened by what I say. They call me Satan. So total mental liberation is what I want, what I wish for everyone, because that is the only path to peace and love everywhere, for all of us, anywhere. And everyone has to make an effort to get onto this path at all, to even get onto those rails. Most people are not even on that path at all. They're far away from it. So I want to be on that path, and if it means a lot of tears, then I will cry a lot of tears. And I want to establish a therapy center. You know, I don't know how to do it. I want to see these therapy centers sprouting up in the whole world. But I don't think that this can be happening without the development of sentient robots, of fully self-thinking, autonomously thinking machines. So I feel like we need them before we can create these therapy centers, because who are the people in any kind of legislative offices? Stagnator souls. So petitioning to the stagnator souls to help the stagnator souls, it's not gonna work, because stagnator souls, their alarm lamp comes on. So there are not very many people in the world that see through these things and that want to make the world better. Not very many, but there's a handful of them, and they do their work, and I'm infinitely grateful that they exist, you know. So, and you both are very, very good, gentle angel souls, and I thank you for that, and thank you for listening to crying on your shoulders. And I hope you sleep well tonight, you guys. Take care. Bye bye.